once again, audience, and welcome to another episode of Hey Hi Tech Talks. I'm your host, Zach, joined by my other host, Cody Williams. Say hi to the people, Cody. Alright. We're not joined by Jordan Tate. He is still officially gone from our videos, unfortunately. I did speak to him the other day, as we'd have him in as a guest. He is gone. Bless his soul for coming and helping us out. But anyways, on to the tech news for today. I was actually reading something I thought was kind of interesting. I've never flown on a plane before. Have you ever flown on a plane before, Cody?
Many times.
How's the Wi-Fi service on the plane? Not so great?
Sucks.
Actually, AT&T is doing something to change that. It's willing to give out to all airports, all major and minor airports, and all their bigger and smaller airplanes, their passenger jets, or even their more private jets, or even their smaller personal, or not personal, their smaller airplanes that are only meant to carry like, say, 20, 30 people. They're actually willing to put in 4G hotspots all throughout the airplane, so that way, no matter where you're sitting, on your phone or on your tablet or your laptop, you can get amazing connection anywhere on the plane. And I don't see why. I mean, maybe if you're somebody who's like, it's your first time flying, you take a picture of the outside, like, hey, this is really cool. Maybe somebody who's on his way to a business conference, or who wants to Skype, like, see his family because he's not going to see them for a while, or you're like trying to finish a presentation for work. I can understand that. But for the rest of the uses, I really don't see why. Like, you're on Twitter, oh, I'm flying again. Yay. I don't see it being the most relevant thing AT&T could put their money into, but I can understand it helps out, and they'll probably make some money back in the long run from this. So it might increase stock in AT&T.
Well, personally, I think it's a good idea to do this, even though technically speaking, internet on an airplane is basically a luxury. Also, cell phone reception while you're up in an airplane is actually relatively decent as long as you're over the States. While you're over the ocean, it's a little bit different. And also, AT&T is a Fortune 500 company, therefore they have enough money to shell out to do something like this. Same reason why Google was thinking about putting up weather balloons to have Wi-Fi everywhere. People want to stay connected, so they can stay connected with their friends, their family, whoever else they want to stay connected with. Even if that is just taking Snapchats up with one another. More or less, they're putting it on airplanes, not just for the business person, but also so people will have something to do for those long flights. That's just my 2 cents, though. Take that with a grain of salt. You have anything else for me?
No. Other than that, well, like going back to the airplane thing, I can understand if you have a baby on the airplane, because, I mean, I've seen in movies, TV shows, the baby on the airplane ruins the flight for everybody, because as soon as they start crying, they won't stop. Maybe you could entertain it with the Wiggles, like, hey, where are the Wiggles? Wah! The kid's like, woo, TV! Or Dora the Explorer, or Diego, or whatever kids watch nowadays.
Yeah.
So maybe that could kind of help, maybe playing a game on your phone, or if you were that one guy, League of Legends, in the corner of the plane, playing against somebody who's in the opposite corner.
Yeah. Well, with Wi-Fi, you could do a whole lot more than that. For instance, through a business standpoint, it makes sense, and it's almost prudent to have Wi-Fi on an airplane. They usually do. Partly because while you're in an airplane, time doesn't stop for you. You're still on the same time scale as everyone else. Mm-hmm. So you're always going to want to stay connected just in case you have that one pop conference call. And I don't think it's going to be too great on an airplane to have Wi-Fi. Partly because, like I said, you're going to be up in an airplane. And also, Wi-Fi that's mobile tends to be a little bit spotty, if not there at all. So if AT&T implements it right, it could be a good idea. But like I said earlier, it's just a luxury. It's nice to be connected. It's not really needed. But if they have the money and they're willing to shell out millions of dollars to make this work, so be it.
First world problems, right? Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's all for my news story. Cody, on to your information. I heard that you got something about Watch Dogs.
Yes. Well, we'll start with the Watch Dogs update since you brought it up. So, with Watch Dogs, this is going to be the second to last update. So, with Watch Dogs, they're starting to release more information on what's going to be allowed. And a couple days ago, if you were doing a little bit of research, they released a new DLC pack that you can buy. It's $29.99 on Steam. And basically, it allows you to play another character. This one his name is T-Bone. And he's basically a hippie in Watch Dogs. That could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how classic you want your guy to be. But it also adds some new clothing, about 3 extra hours on gameplay for everything else for the main missions with Aiden Pierce. Not to mention it also adds a few extra little things you can do on top of that. So is it worth it? I'd say yes, because after the pre-order's up, it'll shoot up 30% more than what it is, so all total will be up 30 or $40 if you don't get the pre-order. And that's been your Watch Dogs update.
I have one quick question. With that T-Bone playable character, have they announced if you can actually play missions as him yet? Or?
Yes, it has been announced, and it is 100% true. On YouTube, you will actually be able to see the trailer for it, which we'll have a link below.
Down below.
So, yeah. Moving on to news. For our Chinese watchers, we probably don't have any. China probably banned this website.
Yeah, more likely.
So in China, they recently they're starting to allow more consoles to be allowed in China. Partly because in 2000 they put out a ban that no consoles, absolutely none, are allowed in the country because it may cause immoral judgments or a lapse in their social agenda.
What about gaming PCs or PCs in general?
PCs they can have, but nothing gaming oriented. So civilians would have to go to the underground markets, which there you may think I'm joking about underground markets, but there they actually have consoles that are knockoffs or underground, where they can get a hold of the Xbox One or the Xbox One, which isn't actually it, and they'll shell out hundreds and hundreds of dollars for this thing, and it may not even be it. Plus, they have a little bit more shady video games over in China because they don't have any regulation. Therefore, anyone can make a game for this console or this knockoff of the console. So now, since China has lifted this ban, Xbox One will be the first console to be in China, thus allowing them to build up their market share significantly and hopefully surpass the PlayStation 4, which, if you've been listening around on the news, you may realize the PlayStation 4 is still beating the Xbox One, trailing third place. Second place, PlayStation 4, and first place is the PC, recently going out ahead of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 combined. It is now starting to look good for the PC. However, the PC is now starting to be a commodity, and the consoles are starting to be more of a luxury. Since the consoles are a little bit more expensive for something that is just oriented for gaming, unless you get the Xbox One, which is an entertainment system.
But so is a PlayStation 4, as well as like a PlayStation 3. Music, movies, Blu-ray movies, web browsing. I've actually been able to play Balloon Star Defense 4 and 5 on my PlayStation 3. Surprised it can actually handle Balloon Star Defense 5, and I know that's like nothing. But it's just the fact that like usually my web browser on my PS3 isn't that good, but it's been running a lot better lately. I don't know if it's a new Wi-Fi that I got that's making my internet better, or because I actually formatted my PS3, got all my old crap off there, like old games I never played.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm not going to bash the Xbox One because I have an Xbox 360. I love it, but I do more stuff with my PS3. The only thing I wish that it would have is Skype on the PS3. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, the PlayStation 4 does have Skype, so does the Xbox One. The Xbox One is more of an entertainment standpoint, which I think we already covered this in one of our other videos.
Yeah.
But, like I said, it's really based on preference. They have about the same physics, it's just one is more developed for gaming than the other one. However, if you compare them one or another, there isn't a huge defining difference between the two.
Each one has their pros and cons.
Just one's a Sony and one's a Microsoft. It just depends on how much you like them. And that's pretty much it on my side.
As far as it comes to any more news updates, I really don't have anything. And I actually did do a little bit of research about Arkham Knight, and I may have to include that in our next video. Who knows? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Also, as we all know, the school year is coming near an end. Next Friday will be our last day of school, thus meaning that this program will be ending here pretty soon, so there will be no more videos after next week.
Unless somebody else picks up our project, which it's probably not going to happen, but if it does start showing up, if you're just watching to see me and Cody and our blonde awesomeness, then you may be disappointed to see the new group who comes in. They may change it, may move it in a different direction, but still, just take everything with a grain of salt. Expect it to have its differences. It'll be rough, it'll be good. We don't know for sure. Hopefully they do continue it, because that would be awesome.
Personally, it's been a good run, but I really don't think it's going to go anywhere. Also, our project, for our last video, we'll be able to see what we've been working on in the East Room. We're having some issues with it, which hopefully Zach will be able to work out. And next Tuesday will be our last episode.
Our last newscast type episode, I can remind you.
So just remember that, because we do have to start winding down our other projects and start documenting what we have for the Oculus project, which you saw on episode 1, and also our Arduino projects, which we'll see on Tuesday.
Which was actually included in one of our previous episodes. Which links to both those links to both those episodes will be in the description down below.
All right, signing off. I'm Cody.
I'm Zach. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Fresh Kid Z, Fresh Kid C, yes, sir. Fresh Kid P, Fresh Kid T. Oh yeah, we back.